Imagine not being able to play with your own children in a public park simply because you're a woman. Well, that's the reality for millions of mothers in Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. Past assurances that women would be allowed an active role in society have come to nothing, with a Taliban spokesman telling the BBC that women are being granted their rights according to Islamic law. That means the ban on female education endures, and there are no female doctors or nurses or professionals of any kind. Women have been erased from public life. Yogita Limaye has our top story tonight, and the identities of all the female interviewees have been hidden and their voices changed because of the fear of reprisals from the Taliban.
In Afghanistan, the exclusion of women is visible everywhere, even from the simplest of joys. They're banned from parks, missing precious moments with their children. The mums can't be the ones pushing the swings or cheering for their little ones coming down a slide. It's hard not to be stunned when you see it.
I can't be down there because I'm a woman. During the course of the years that the Taliban have been in power in this country, we have witnessed basic freedoms being taken away from Afghan women. We know there are divisions within this government on the issue of women's rights, particularly on the subject of education. But if the expectation was that as time passes things will loosen up, actually it's gone the other way. The top leader has hardened his stance.
Particularly on education. One of the most heartening sights in the world is little girls going to school in the morning. But it's a freedom these girls will only have for a few more years. When they become teenagers, they'll be pushed indoors. That hasn't stopped some, like these 19-year-old women, from holding on to a fragile link to education. They're enrolled in a short-term English language program. A handful of such courses continue, slipping through the cracks of Taliban bans. This woman travelled to Kabul hundreds of miles from her home in the remote Daikundi province, because if she stayed there, she would be pressurized into getting married.
Before the ban, my parents passionately encouraged me to study. They believed in me and told me I can definitely achieve my dream of becoming a pilot. But now they say the best way for me is to get married, because I can't go to school, to university, I can't even work. I'm afraid if I return to Daikundi, I will be forced to get married.
How long do you think you can resist? How long do you think you can hold the line?
I will keep resisting until I can no longer breathe. I want a better future.
Back in the early years after the ban, Afghan women had resisted, marching in the streets of Kabul and other cities. The protests were violently cracked down on by the Taliban government's forces until no one could publicly raise their voice anymore. Nearly 5 years on, for countless women and girls, the damage is irreversible. We drive to the west of Kabul to meet a family. 2 generations of women with broken dreams. This elderly single mother worked as a cleaner in people's homes to put her 2 daughters through school. But when the Taliban banned education, she says she was forced to push her elder daughter to get married.
I was fearful that the Taliban will question why I'm not getting her married. I had wanted her to be educated, work, and contribute to society. I'm illiterate, so I'm like a blind person. But I wanted my girls to learn. But here in Afghanistan, it's over for us.
The 22-year-old daughter is now the mother of a toddler and an infant, visibly carrying the grief of lost opportunities.
Having a husband is not the only dream a woman has. She needs to stand on her own 2 feet first, become independent, and then she can marry and start a family. But I went into this new life with none of that. My dreams remain unfulfilled.
When they first seized power, the Taliban had said women would be very active in society. Assurances demolished by their actions.
We've come to the Government Media Information Center of the Taliban government to interview the deputy spokesman, and we've just been setting up for that interview. We're waiting for him to arrive. This can't be done as a conventional interview because we can't be pictured in the same frame, and I can't sit across from him either because I'm a woman. So this is how we've set it up. He'll be sitting there. The translator will be sitting across from him. I'll be sitting in this chair, but we have editorial independence. We are free to ask whatever questions we want to ask.
Hamdullah Fitrat is the Taliban government's deputy spokesman. It would be rare for an Afghan female journalist to be given this opportunity.
It's now been more than 4.5 years you've been in government. How can you continue to justify this ban on education on girls and women?
Regarding the ban on education, our figures show that around 7 million boys and 5 million girls are currently studying. The restriction on education beyond grade 6 is a separate issue. When secondary and higher education for girls will be opened is a question for the Ministry of Education, and hopefully they will provide a satisfactory response.
For nearly 5 years now, we've been speaking to women and girls in your country. At the very beginning, they used to tell us maybe it'll open in a few years. Now they tell us they do not believe that their education will be reopened under your watch. Is that true? Do you recognize that a whole generation of women, their lives, their dreams, they're already over?
As I have already said, this question is for the Ministry of Education.
You won't allow there to be female doctors, female nurses, female midwives. That is affecting, it's not just about the right to education there, it is about the right to health, it's about their right to a life.
The Islamic Emirate is committed to granting women their rights according to Islamic law.
The deflection and silence are unsurprising. We asked the Education Ministry for a response. They did not give one. With a tight grip on the country, the Taliban regime is trying to normalize institutionalized discrimination of the most severe kind. Yogita Limaye, BBC News.